Here's a number, 40, not 40 million, not 40,000, only 40. A few hundred humans total, scattered starving, freezing, with no reason to believe tomorrow would be any different from today. You exist right now because every single one of those women survived long enough to have a child. So, let's talk about the day humanity nearly deleted itself from existence. It is 74,000 years ago. Small groups of early humans scattered across Africa, hunting animals they sometimes can't catch, eating roots they sometimes can't find, dying from infections. Life is already brutal, already a daily negotiation between the human body and a planet that does not care whether it survives. And then Toba wakes up. Toba is a super volcano sitting under what is now Lake Toba in Sumatra, Indonesia. And when scientists say super volcano, they don't mean big. They don't mean dangerous. They mean a geological weapon so terrible that nothing in recorded human history comes anywhere close. On a completely ordinary day, with zero warning, Toba erupts, like the planet itself decided it had had enough. The explosion launches 670 cubic miles of ash into the atmosphere. Imagine burying the entire United States under ash. Every city, every highway, every field from New York to Los Angeles, that's roughly what Toba throws into the sky. And then the sky goes dark. Not dark like night. Night is temporary. This is different. The ash spreads globally within weeks. The sun, which every creature on Earth has relied on without a single conscious thought, disappears behind a curtain of debris, so thick it blocks meaningful sunlight for an estimated 6 to 10 years. No sunlight means no warmth. Temperatures drop 15 degrees almost overnight. No sunlight means plants die. Animals that eat plants disappear. Humans who hunt those animals starve. Entire food chains, built over millions of years, collapse within a single season like a tower with its foundation removed. And somewhere in Africa, a small group of early humans wakes up one morning. They don't know what happened. They have no science, no satellites, no one to explain that 6,000 miles away, a mountain just erased their future. All they know is cold. Unbearable, unfamiliar cold. And the animals they follow are gone. Then the food runs out, not slowly like a drought. Fast, like a fire takes a house. One week there are herds, the next week there aren't, and the dying starts. First the old, then the very young, then everyone else, community by community, group by group, until the human population doesn't just shrink, it collapses. Some estimates put surviving humans at fewer than 10,000 total. Some go much lower. The most striking genetic studies suggest a breeding population that may have dropped to just a few thousand people worldwide. To put that in perspective, there are more people in a single football stadium right now than there were humans on the entire Earth during the worst of Toba's aftermath. Scientists call this the genetic bottleneck. Here's what that actually means. Every human alive today, every single person, every country, every culture on this planet, descended from that impossibly tiny group of survivors. We are, genetically, shockingly similar to each other. Chimpanzees with far smaller populations have significantly more genetic variation than 8 billion humans do, because we went through a needle so impossibly fine that almost everything humanity had ever been was lost forever, and what squeezed through the other side was just barely enough. So who were they? These survivors? We don't know their names. We never will. What we do know is that some of them moved. They didn't sit and wait for the world to fix itself. They moved toward coastlines, where the ocean still provided food even when the land gave nothing. Shellfish, seaweed, things that didn't depend on a sun that had gone missing. A small group of early humans, hollow-eyed, half-frozen, carrying nothing but each other, stood at the edge of the ocean during the worst decade in human history. And they ate, and they stayed alive. Somewhere inside those 6 to 10 years of darkness, babies were born. The genetics prove it. Which means, somewhere in that cold, in a world that had swallowed the sun, a woman held a newborn and decided to keep it alive. Imagine what that decision costs. With almost nothing to eat, no shelter worth the word, no certainty that tomorrow holds anything except more of this. She keeps the child anyway. That child is your ancestor, not metaphorically, directly. That single act of stubbornness in the dark is a link in the chain that ends with you, sitting here right now. The volcanic winter eventually lifted, the sky cleared, the plants grew back, the world didn't forget how to be warm. But right after Toba, something strange appears in the archaeological record. Suddenly humans are making more sophisticated tools. Suddenly there's evidence of symbolic thinking, art, long-term planning. The behavioral, modern human, the kind that would eventually cross oceans, build civilizations, and make videos about their own near extinction, appears in the record directly after the worst disaster the species ever survived. Maybe crisis forced creativity. Maybe the survivors were already the most cooperative, most adaptable among us. Or maybe the bottleneck itself accidentally concentrated the best of what humanity had, burned away everything else, left something leaner. The species that almost died came back different, came back better. We are sitting at the tail end of a 74,000-year comeback story. Every war, every plague, every famine and catastrophe in every history book. All of it happened after Toba. All of it survived by a species that had already been reduced to almost nothing and climbed back anyway. They had 40 women. 40! And in the dark and the cold, those 40 women were enough. You are the proof.